Hi there, welcome to I Alone Fly Tarot. I'm going to do a tarot card reading for Virgo energy. And for this round, we're going to use the tea leaf fortune cards. And we're going to read it from a couple different perspectives because people have free will. Some people harness high vibe Virgo energy. Some people harness a more worldly Virgo energy. Some people harness a more shadowy Virgo energy. You know, it just depends on what lessons people have learned in life and what they're motivated and inspired by. Some are motivated by fear not to do love. Some are motivated by love. Some have illusions of love. And we all harness some Virgo energy. So listen to your intuition as we go through the story to figure out where you're at and where some other people are at in how they harness their Virgo energy. The reason for the reading, let's just bring these closer and I'll turn down the camera. I got some pretty small print on these cards. The reason for the reading is the Shield card, which is also the reason why the reading came out, which says you need to defend yourself. And that kind of reminds me of the Nine of Wands, Sagittarius energy. If we were in a situation where we were dealing with people who are defensive to moving forward in life and kind of seeing the truth and growing and maturing themselves, or maybe making a commitment to invest in something, we realize that, you know, we need to stand up for ourselves and what we believe in. And maybe the whole point of coming into contact with certain people in your life was to harness more Sagittarius energy, which could be about, you know, wrapping your brain around this game of life and looking at life as an adventure to be lived. We get in these relationships with people, we learn lessons, take the lesson that we've learned and stand up for what we believe in. Maybe previously we weren't really standing up for ourselves, and the whole point of getting in those relationships was to teach us to stand up for ourselves and have good boundaries within ourselves and, you know, take the lesson and move on forward. So the first card that isn't showing itself is the Rose. Romance is in the air. Then Tiger in reverse. Doing something risky, taking a chance. Okay, so, and with the card Romance in the air, if we realize that someone we were dealing with, that we shouldn't be in a relationship with them, and maybe they took foolish risks in a relationship, and we know we don't want to be in a relationship with people who take foolish risks in a relationship, being immature, indulgent, prideful, egotistical, manipulative, whatever the case might be. You could have gotten out of that relationship. You're acting in a stable, grounded way. You're not going to take impulsive, reckless action in your life. You're going to take the lesson you've learned to move forward in your life. What some people might not know about you is that you do believe in love and you do love yourself, and you know, you're not giving up on your dreams like some other people could. Some other people could reject love. Romance in the air reverse. It's like, no, I'm not doing love. Some people want to get in relationships, and their long-term plan is to indulge in a relationship for as long as they can, where it's really not being authentically vulnerable and open and warm and loving in a relationship. And they didn't know that you still have hope and faith and belief in your dreams and love. And you're not willing to be in relationships with people who are impulsive. Then we have the Harp card, Great Happiness, and the Tulip card, Great Passion. So, since we didn't have a humongous clump come out, let's just go get some clarifiers on all of these. Tell us about Romance in the air, not showing itself. The Wheel of Fortune and the Ace of Wands because of the Three of Cups. Yeah, some people have hope and faith and belief in love. Harnessing, well, it kind of has to do with how people harness their Cancer energy. Some people harness high vibe Cancer energy. They want to work together with people from a foundation of love because they're inspired by love and they love themselves. They want to be in relationships with other loving people. Other people harness a more shadowy Cancer energy within themselves. They don't have to be a Cancer sun sign. It's just how we harness our Cancer energy. Other people like to move forward in life maybe more aligned with their more fiery nature, their wants and needs and lust and greed and things. And they use their emotions manipulatively in a relationship to get what they want. And sometimes we realize that some of the people who wanted to move forward with us in a relationship are more about indulging themselves in a relationship and to manipulate us. And you were like, no, that's not my idea of the dream relationship. And there might be other people in the world who would like to be in a relationship with you, but they couldn't be in a relationship with you as long as you were indulging other people who were kind of manipulating you, basically because you had lessons learned in life. And until you learn to stand up for yourself and believe that you deserve to be in just and fair and balanced relationships, and learn to love yourself enough to, because sometimes you can be a loving person, but your pattern of relationship is to be in a relationship with people who don't treat you the same way you treat them. And when we haven't learned that to be able to be in a relationship with people who treat us the way we treat them, we can push away people like that because our comfort zone is to kind of be in a relationship with people who maybe are manipulative or prideful or egotistical or defensive. Like, I'm going to make them love me. I'm going to make them put down their boundaries. I'm going to quit. I'm going to make them learn to love themselves. Well, why fight people who have already shown us that that's not their authentic nature and way of being? Why not be with the people who authentically are loving and warm and giving? And again, what we learn in tarot so much is that we have these certain patterns of ways of being, and we need to see the truth of it, that it's not going to get us what we want if we keep repeating that pattern. And we need to learn to love ourselves and believe in ourselves, to step out of our comfort zone, to take the lessons that we've learned, to be in relationship with people who treat us the way we treat them, to be willing to give love, but also be willing to receive love. So then we have the Tiger in reverse. You aren't doing something hasty. You are not acting foolishly. The King of Wands, the King of Cups, the Sun card, and the Ace of Pentacles, because of the Nine of Swords. You've given a lot of thought to what is love and what is loving and what isn't loving. We can love people in our life and wish that they would move forward with us, and be in our life long term. But if those people are kind of more motivated and inspired to manipulate people versus being like authentic and loving and warm, they could be, instead of operating from their high vibe energy of willing to be more bold and brave and confident and authentic in the world, they might be people who operate, they're kind of being manipulated by their ego nature to be emotionally defensive. And that could be how they want to move forward, and that's fine. Different strokes for different folks. But if that's not the type of relationship we want to be in, even though in the King of Wands it can mean being attracted to someone, we need to offer love to work through our own fears and insecurities of seeing the truth. And if other people have a lot of stress about being more bold and brave and authentic and loving, and if they're not willing to go within to deal with their own fears and insecurities about high vibe, Leo in the Sun card talks about, being more authentically yourself, being free to give and receive love, and we can know people in the world who are really fearful of just being more authentic in the world. They like to hide behind their ego and like their false mask and, not really let their more authentic nature out to play in the world. And if you're someone who does like to be authentic and vulnerable and have like deep, meaningful relationships, and the people that you've been in a relationship with don't like to do that, they might like to keep their, emotions buried beneath the surface, like present themselves as being like bold and brave and loving, but it's more operating from ego, and they want to be in relationships, but they're really fearful of being hurt. Well, if they haven't dealt with those issues that makes them so fearful of being hurt, where they operate more from their emotionally defensive nature, it's kind of like being in a relationship with someone who it's like their false self living their life, like their ego running their life, their cardboard cutout person running their life. It's like, I want to deal with the real you. And if you haven't freed yourself, we can love and encourage people to love and believe in themselves, to work through their fears and their insecurities and their self-limiting beliefs, but they have to do in their own Virgo energy, which is about going within to deal with your own fears and insecurities and shed some light and love and compassion on the things that you keep hidden in the dark, like your pain, your past pain and heartbreak, your self-limiting beliefs. People have to do that work within themselves to free themselves. All we can offer is a loving and supportive and encouraging environment. And if we've been doing that and people still refuse, no, I think this is the best way. Like, I'm going to offer you these things of the world. Isn't that good enough? Won't you be in a relationship with me? We'll have the status, we'll have the image. I'll present myself as loving to you and like a loving family person in the world. But what I'm really willing to offer you is more kind of the things of the world. I'll try to offer you stability and security. I'll have sex with you. I'll try to, provide all those things that we want kind of in a worldly sense. I just can't be authentically myself and vulnerable and loving in a relationship. So it's like having everything of the world, but not love. And we get in those relationships and we get in these relationships with other people to get clear about what our truth is. And we realize that if it's not love, it's not enough. I can have all the things of the world, and it's like a resounding gong. So you could have left a relationship in the past. Other people are just realizing the truth of the relationships that they're in. And unless people are willing to work together to be bold and brave enough in love, to be authentically themselves, to listen to love and intuition to guide them, and keep working through their fears and insecurities with the people they're in relationship with, and there are some people who are doing that in relationships right now, that's the way it should be, where people take bold, brave, confident action. Kind of that's what the kings represent. The kings represent taking action in the world. The only thing is some people can present themselves whatever way they want in the world, and the truth is, emotionally, they're manipulated by their fear and their insecurity. And so it's to try to see through the illusion of who is presenting themselves in the world authentically, being bold and brave and confident in love, who's presenting themselves as being that type of person, maybe to have a new beginning, but they're really operating more from ego or fear or insecurity or lust or greed or codependency. Who's trying to manipulate people and who's really being authentic? And, depending on what people align with within themselves, what is more their comfort zone, will determine which of the people in the world they align with in the world, because we all have this dualistic nature. We all have our shadowy worldly side, our more prideful, egotistical, fearful, insecure, immature, indulgent, lustful, greedy, lazy nature, wanting what we want without having to put in the work and effort to grow and mature ourselves. And then we have our high vibe nature. We could grow and mature ourselves to our full potential, but we have to deal with those inner issues to free ourselves. And our shadow nature can be represented by the devil, and our high vibe nature is kind of represented by the divine and love. So I think if you had been in the past in a relationship, you realized you needed to stand up for yourself, that you could have felt someone was manipulating you and indulging you in a relationship, maybe trying to keep you in your fear, in your insecurity, in your ego, in your more competitive nature, so you would keep indulging them in that relationship. And you could have seen the truth of it, and it's like, nope, I've been illuminated to the truth. I don't want to be in a relationship where someone is playing on my fear, my insecurity, my lust, my greed, my pride, my ego, my more codependent nature. People are either open and authentic and loving and willing to invest in a relationship, being authentic and loving, not manipulative, not about them indulging, or I'm out of here. So, with the Harp card, great happiness. You chose to give yourself everything that you wish they had given you, because that's how we heal from being in relationships or friendships or workplaces or whatever, where people try to tempt us to stay in something that's not like just and fair and balanced and authentic and encouraging and supportive, where we feel manipulated. We give ourselves the things that we wish they would have given us so that we can heal from that wound, so we won't be tempted to get back in a relationship with someone like that, like trying to win in our ego. This time I'm going to make someone like that, who's like that, choose me, love me. And it's like, I don't need to try to make people who are like that choose me. I accept that they have free will and they don't choose to live their life the way I want to live my life. And I've healed from that. I don't have that wound anymore. I'm not competing with people and in my ego to get people like that to validate my worth and value. I validated my own worth and value. I saw what was loving and what wasn't loving. I saw what was manipulative and what wasn't love. I saw what was unjust and unfair. And I chose to give myself everything I wish they'd given me so that I can move to the next phase of life and have new beginnings in my life. Tell us about the great happiness of the Harp card. Four of Pentacles, the Hangman card came out because of the Five of Pentacles. You realized that you needed to detach from people who might harness shadowy Capricorn, Pisces energy. Again, they don't have to be those sun signs, but in their Capricorn, Pisces energy, they might be people who hold on to this old way of living life or this way of viewing even relationships, where they don't want to see life differently. You know, when we're willing to take some time to learn lessons in life and look at life differently, to expand our perception of ourselves and the world and how we view relationships, and we're willing to learn lessons in life, that would be the Ace of Pentacles. And Virgo goes within all of us to see the truth. If people had been willing to put in the work and effort to look at life differently, to get out of their pride and their ego, or maybe their emotionally defensive way, wanting to do things the way they've always done it, which some people are selfish and greedy, and some people are very stubborn and prideful and egotistical, and they want to keep moving forward that way. And they don't want to maybe even see the truth that they could be selfish and greedy and prideful and stubborn and egotistical. They want to live life the way they've always lived life, and that's fine. They can live their life. They're just going to have to move forward with other people, because you harness high vibe Capricorn and high vibe Pisces and high vibe Taurus, and Five of Pentacles of Taurus energy has to do with our underlying philosophy of life. And however we view life and ourselves and the world and relationships is going to dictate how we act in relationships and what kind of relationships we want to move forward in. Are we more motivated by money and materialism and ego and being indulged? Well, then we're going to want to be in relationships with people who agree with us and live their life that way too, or have fear and insecurity of moving forward on their own and standing up for themselves and believing in themselves, who will move forward with people who live their life like that because they're afraid of detaching from them, because they're kind of in codependent energy. And other people are like, you know, I want to move forward with people who hold back from operating in pride and ego, who put in work and effort to deal with their fears and insecurities when they feel stuck, to expand their perception of themselves and life and relationships, to keep investing in love in relationships, to get out of their ego, get out of their stubbornness. Like, oh my gosh, this is moving into unknown territory. Yeah, we can all get in relationships where it's kind of moving forward in a way where we haven't been before, and it can bring up fear and insecurity in us because it's unknown territory, and we have to face some of our fears and insecurities. Are we willing to face and deal with those things and face our fears and insecurities and try to expand our perception of how we viewed relationships and ourselves and the world, and try to see things from our partner's perspective to keep moving forward with them? because we want to be in a relationship with them and we're willing to do that work to step out of our comfort zone. Some people weren't. So, they're going to keep moving forward the way they've been living their life and the way they want to live their life. And we realize we need to hold back from those people and we need to invest in believing in ourselves. And we're going to go through a period of feeling kind of left out in the cold. If we're in a job or a friendship or a relationship where we kind of feel like people are being bossy or controlling or self-centered or manipulative, and we don't want to be in that type of environment, yeah, especially if it's a friend or a romantic relationship, we're going to go through a period of feeling left out in the cold until we meet some new friends or get in a new relationship. But it's not to just jump into a new relationship because I feel left out in the cold. That's not a good reason to get in a relationship with someone. I'm stuck. Those other people weren't willing to be loving or kind. I want to get in another relationship to feel better. That's like using other people like you would drugs or alcohol to feel better, And so I think the high vibe people are going to take some time, or did take some time, to themselves, because that's also what Virgo energy is about. Taking time alone to work through all your own fears and insecurities and learn to heal from that past relationship. So when you are ready to move forward with other people and be in a relationship with them, not because you feel left out in the cold, not because you're in fear, not because you're in your ego, not because you're in competitive energy or something like that. It's like, because I'm really ready to move forward in a new relationship. And as some people did this work within themselves, they were investing in other people in the world who they thought were loving and nurturing and supportive and encouraging, instead of investing their time, energy, and effort into the people in their life who they thought were trying to manipulate them or control them or put them in their fear and insecurity and ego. It's like, that's not love. Loving people don't do that. I'm going to invest my time, energy, and effort in the people in the world who I think are loving and kind and encouraging and supportive. And I might not be jumping into a relationship right away, but I'm going to take this time to heal and expand my perception of what I believe is possible. And because so much of our life is dictated by what we believe is possible. And sometimes, it can tempt us to go back to old relationships or friendships because we feel stuck, we feel left out in the cold. And sometimes when some people are in that phase of a relationship series of events in their life, other people who are manipulative and kind of bossy and controlling or egotistical can try to tempt people to come back and get in a relationship with them. And some people will do that because, well, I feel stuck. Things aren't moving forward the way I want to. And we just have to listen to our intuition, because we could have different people in our life from our past who were healthy, loving people who see that we've detached from something and they're a loving person and they want to move forward with us. Other people are trying to keep us. They're just another person who wants to maybe be indulged and, oh, look, you're stuck. Oh, look, you're not moving forward. Oh, look, are you out in the cold? Hey, come get in a relationship with me. I want to be the next person to indulge in a relationship with you. So we need to listen to our intuition about people we meet as we move forward, who is kind of stuck and has their own ways of being that they don't want to move forward from, who might be more worldly driven, ego driven, indulgence driven, and who really has learned lessons in life and is willing to move forward, whether it's people from our past or people that we meet as we move forward. And I think you're going to meet new people as you move forward, and you're going to listen to your intuition. Other people might get out of their own relationships because they've been enlightened to the truth and they want to move forward with you. And you just got to listen to your intuition. What are people's intentions? Because again, like I said with the kings, people, and the kings are, we all take action in masculine energy, so it doesn't matter if they're male or female. It's just how they're presenting themselves in the world. But what is the truth behind their intentions? Why are they taking this action in life? Why are they wanting to have new beginnings with people? Why are the current people in our life wanting to invest in us? What are their intentions? Are they trying to appeal to our fear and our insecurity and our ego? Are they trying to get us to love and believe in ourselves, to see things from different perspectives, to believe in our dreams, to keep moving forward, loving ourselves, believing in ourselves? What are people's intentions that from our past, from our present, that we're going to meet in our future? And it's to listen, hold back from people who have a lack mentality, who are stubborn and prideful and maybe more ego focused, image focused, status focused, want to be in a relationship with you because it'd be good for their ego and image. Someone else had wanted them to grow up and mature and they weren't willing to, so now they feel stuck and they feel left out in the cold. They want to have a new beginning with you because it's good for their ego and their image. You know, who wants to be in a relationship with people because of that? Or are they people who saw the truth that they needed to grow and mature themselves, got out of those relationships, want to be in a relationship with other people who are moving forward in life, who have expanded their perception of the world, that there's more to the world, and being in a relationship because of the status or the image. You know, when we grow up in the world, we can really get caught up in the illusion of the world. But there's more to that, because otherwise we're only operating from half a foundation. And if we really want a truly abundant foundation, which is represented by the Ten of Pentacles, high vibe Virgo energy, it needs to be a balanced relationship where, yes, we all put in work and effort to have stability and security in our life and would like to enjoy the finer things in life. But is that the end all be all? If we aren't in relationships based on truth and love and justice and fairness, we might have all the things of the world in a relationship, but what in the hell are we putting up with? Are we staying in it because of ego and image? Are the people who want to be in a relationship with us in it for ego and image? Is it love or isn't it love? And some people are seeing the truth about who they need to hold back from and who they should move forward with in life and who they shouldn't. Tell us the Tulip card, Great Passion. The the Knight of Cups, the Queen of Cups, the Three of Pentacles, the King of Swords, the Ten of Cups, because of the Devil. So, like I mentioned, you could look at the King of Swords and high vibe. The divine, loving energy wants us to get our divine inheritance, but we have to align with that within ourselves. And in order to align with our more loving, hopeful, believing nature, I shouldn't settle for less than I deserve. We have to quit kind of being caught up in the illusion of the world or in our own fears and insecurities, which is represented by the devil. And in order to free ourselves from the devil, we have to expand our perception of ourselves and the world around us. And instead of our foundation being more consumed with the world, or I feel left out in the cold, I need to be in a relationship, or I need to go indulge in these things of the world to feel better, that's a lie. The whole lesson in life is to learn to love yourself. Libra is represented by the scales of justice. We need to love ourselves and be balanced within ourselves, and that's part of learning to love ourselves, to give ourselves all the things we wish other people would give us so that we're not codependent on other people. Learning to love ourselves, being like our own best mother, father, coach voice in our own head. To love our own worldly nature, to offer ourselves love and compassion and forgiveness for the mistakes we've made, so we're not belittling and berating ourselves. The whole world can do that. We don't have any control over the world, and the devil also kind of represents the world. The one person in the world who every day Like, again, being our best mother, father, coach voice in our own head. We're not children anymore. We're not going out in the world looking for another mother or father to care for us. We're not children. We are meant in our Virgo energy to add to our foundation, to learn lessons in life, to grow and mature ourselves. And the most important lesson is to learn to love ourselves, to invest in loving our own worldly nature, to love and encourage ourselves, to emotionally mature ourselves, to work together cooperatively between our worldly nature and our loving intuitive nature, so that, because a house divided can't stand. There'll be a lot of inner conflict within us. We can't be going back and forth like, well, I want to present myself as loving and just and fair and stable and grounded, but I really don't want to do the work to be that way. So we're kind of going back and forth. And, high vibe energy is doing the work within yourself to get balance within yourself, admitting I do have a shadow nature. We can't get rid of it. We can be, we have to acknowledge we have a shadow nature, that we can want what we want when we want it, but that would be selfish and greedy and prideful and egotistical and stubborn. And if we want to work cooperatively with others and we want to be in just and fair long-term relationships, we have to temper our immature nature, our self-centered nature, and we have to deal with our fears and insecurities of being vulnerable in a loving relationship. And if we do that work within ourselves, to love ourselves when we have fears and insecurities, to act with truth and love, that's going to be our best bet. Because if we let our shadowy nature of, well, I'm fearful and I'm afraid I could get hurt, there are no guarantees. When is someone that we get in a relationship with going to give in to their more shadowy nature? When are they going to come to a point in the relationship where it's something really difficult to face a truth about within themselves, or a fear within themselves, or a lack of belief within themselves, and they decide to give in to the dark side? I just don't want to put in the work and effort. We don't know when that'll happen, but we can be proud of ourselves that we know we gave everything we could, and we know we grew and matured, and we'll be ready to move forward with other people because we didn't give in to the temptation to give up on our dreams and go indulge ourselves in not loving things to feel better. So, and the devil can mean that there are people that you're attracted to, and you're willing to face your fears to get the justice you deserve, and you're willing to keep moving forward, having hope and faith and belief that, I'm going to trust my intuition. I'm going to go live my life, enjoy my life, and I believe that, we all manifest next week, next month, next year, the next 10 years of our life, depending on what action we're taking in our life today. And even though my shadowy nature is tempting me always to take the steering wheel and say, no, I want to feel better now. No, I want what I want now. No, it's not going to end up the way we want it to be. Because if we take impulsive, reckless, immature, indulgent action and we give into what we already know might not work out for us, or we've done there, been there, the devil lies, and the devil's always going to be there to tempt us. But if we keep putting in work and effort in truth and love to guide our decisions, and having good boundaries within ourselves to our shadowy nature and other people in the world who might be tempting us to indulge, if we keep moving forward, either in the relationships that people could currently be in, or believing in themselves and believing in their dreams, not to settle for less than they deserve, that's what they're going to manifest, because that's what they're aligned with within themselves. Tell us about the Shield card. I guess before I go there, I just kind of caught this right here, is that there might be people that we wish would move forward with us, but they could be holding back and kind of be in their pride and ego. And sometimes we kind of have those standoffs with people, right? They have a certain way of viewing life and relationships and how they want to be in a relationship and how they want you to be in a relationship. But if they're not being just and fair and open and honest and authentic and loving, we're not going to be in a relationship with them. And the Queen of Cups, again, you could love people, but your Pisces energy of, I have hope and faith and belief in our dreams, that even though we love them, we have to keep moving forward, or we'll be settling for being in a relationship where we don't get what we want and they get what they want, because they might be kind of more about manipulating people and being prideful or egotistical, or more about their wants and needs and lust and greed and ego and image. And for them, it could be the ideal relationship if you would keep moving forward with them in a relationship, because it's good for their ego or their image, or, it's their dream relationship. But you want a relationship based on people being more authentic and just and fair and truthful and honest and balanced. Not just being in the relationship because of the image or the status or the stability or the security. And that might be how they want to live their life. And if you want to be in a relationship with them, you've got to make your life being happy with that being what you have. And it's like, I don't want to be in a relationship with someone who presents himself as loving to me and the world, but it's more them being in their ego and defensive, and it's more superficial and shallow. I want the real deal. And so we have to resist that there might be people we'd like to be in a relationship with, but if we feel like that is unhealthy for us, because it's not aligned with our truth, we need to keep moving forward. The King of Swords talks about taking action in the world in truth, based on your truth. And if that's how they want to live their life, and they want to go get in relationships with other people or indulge in other people, and, that's their free will choice. And kind of, when we stand up for ourselves and what we believe in, it ends up kind of illuminating the truth of who other people are, because did they take action being bold and brave and confident and loving and gaining insight and wisdom and taking action in truth and love? Or did they, because they are a more maybe fearful or insecure or prideful or egotistical person, go indulge in their ego? Well, it goes to show that they aren't somebody who's willing to put in the work and effort to be more balanced within themselves. And they maybe don't want to see the truth that they are kind of more prideful and egotistical, or like to be in relationships where they can manipulate people. What is the Shield card? You need to defend yourself. The Five of Cups and the Two of Pentacles, because of the Temperance card, I think you need to defend yourself. I think, you're going to have great happiness and great passion. I think because you're willing to face your fears and you don't indulge yourself in more immature, prideful, unhealthy ways of being, and invest in people who are more balanced and loving and just and fair, I think you're going to have victory or justice over your own shadow nature and other people in the world who try to get you to settle for less than you deserve. And I think you're going to be happy, and you're going to be working with people who are like that. And I think as you move forward in your life, if it hasn't happened already, or you're not already in that type of relationship, I think there's other people in the world, they're in their own relationships or have been, and they're going to be illuminated to the truth that they want to be in relationships with people. You and the people you're in a relationship with could be people who are inspiring other people to love and believe in themselves, to get themselves out of being in relationships where they're manipulated. And they're doing this work to work through their own fears and insecurities, to hold back from those people and not settle for less than they deserve, and not stay in relationships just because of ego or image or stability or security, to learn to do that work, to love themselves and stand up for themselves and what they believe in, to have victory over their own hiding from the world and learning to live their authentic life and love themselves. And I think you're protecting yourself against people in the world who harness kind of shadowy Scorpio, shadowy Capricorn energy, who haven't dealt with their regrets of the past, haven't healed from the relationships of the past that didn't work out. And some people think, I don't have to deal with those things. It's over. I'll just balance myself out about it and I'll go get in a new relationship. But if they don't deal with those things of the past, their own past pain and heartbreak, their own self-limiting beliefs, the relationships of the past that hurt them, I think subconsciously, even if they get in loving relationships that they could move forward with, because they haven't healed, is kind of like a stumbling block. And subconsciously, if they're not willing to do that work, because the truth is what sets us free to live our life differently. And if they're unwilling to do the work within themselves to be illuminated to the truth that they keep trying to bury, there's going to be people who come up in the world who subconsciously remind them of the very people who might have hurt them before, that make them afraid of love. And if they weren't willing to do the work in a loving environment to deal with those issues, then they need to, like the divine sees the truth that these people aren't willing to do the work and they're not ready to move forward with you, and you are ready and you deserve your divine inheritance to be in those type of relationships. This person isn't ready. They're not doing the work. The divine is illuminated to the truth of it. And then those people will subconsciously kind of be drawn to people in the world that are going to try to, in a shadowy way, try to get them to see the truth. And they'll probably remind them of people from their past who might have been people who emotionally manipulate and are kind of prideful and egotistical, that cause them stress and anxiety anyway about moving forward with people in love. And since they weren't willing to see it with loving people, they're probably going to get in relationships with people who remind them of people from their past, trying to get them to see the truth. This is why you don't believe in love, because you've dealt with people who are like this, and you rejected loving people because you have loved anyway some people in the world who are like this, and you're trying to get them to love you. And you need to see the truth that you don't need people who are like this to love you. You need to love you. But some people, it takes a lot of work and effort to love yourself. And you have to deal with all your fears and your insecurities and your self-limiting beliefs. And it could be looking for someone who reminds you of your mom or your dad. Like, I want them to choose me this time. If they kind of weren't the person I wanted them to be, I'm still trying to get people who remind me of that person to get them to be all that I wanted them to be. Well, good luck. People are who they are. We have to offer love and compassion, that people in our life had their own inner issues, dealing with their own things, and we wish them peace and love. And we don't need to make people who are like and have these certain traits and characteristics to love us or acknowledge our worth and value until they win the battle within themselves to be loving and warm and giving and nurturing. I'm staying away. And the Five of Cups is Scorpio energy. It could be people who, you probably harness high vibe Scorpio, high vibe Capricorn, because you do listen to your intuition. You do offer yourself that love to heal from past pain and heartbreak, to be able to maintain balance so you don't stay in shadowy energy. But other people didn't offer themselves love. And even when other people offer them love, they don't use that opportunity to deal with those things they keep hidden in the dark. It's just more like, oh, I just want to, this is great. I just want to keep not dealing with those things. But it becomes a problem in the relationship, because when the people in there that they get in relationship with are starting to heal from past pain and heartbreak, and they're ready to move forward differently in life, they can't move with them. And then they can kind of become manipulative and bossy and controlling and fearful and insecure, because you've kind of moved to the next phase of life and, dealt with some of your issues, and they haven't. And so then they can try to hold on too tight. They can be very stubborn and prideful and egotistical and bossy and controlling and all these shadowy ways of being. And eventually it's like, oh my gosh, you have some issues you need to deal with. And if you're not willing to deal with them, I have done everything I can. I wish you peace. I'm moving on. And they might be sad that it didn't work out the way they wanted, but they didn't do the work to be just and fair and truthful and honest and loving. So they're probably going to go repeat a past pattern, get into a new relationship, hold back from wanting to see the truth. They could be people who've decided in their Taurus energy that I'm going to make the foundation of my life isn't about learning to love and believe in myself and see the truth of my own shadow nature. I'm going to be in denial of my shadow nature, or I'm going to make my life all about my shadow nature and indulging in the things I want to indulge in to make myself feel better. And they might not realize that they're going to put themselves in a little bit of hell, and they're probably going to end up in regret. Because when we make our life about, I don't want to see the truth if I'm immature, if I'm egotistical, if I'm stubborn, if I'm materialistic, if they think those are the things that will make them happy, I think they could keep repeating a past pattern, getting in relationships with people, either because they're driven by money and materialism, and they think that'll make them happy. And then they could think, if I have the status and the image and the money, by worldly standards, I look successful, and I don't really care if I'm sad or I'm stressed or I feel left out in the cold or I'm even in relationship with people who are toxic or unhealthy. Some people having the status or the image or the money is so important to them. It's like an addiction, and they're willing to tolerate anything in a relationship to have those things. Other people just could have thought it could have been a pattern of theirs of trying to manipulate people to get what they want. And they tried it with someone, maybe for the last time, and people left and believed in themselves. And some of those people are sad that they juggled someone, because they were tempted that instead of being loving and authentic and working with people to deal with their own fears and insecurities, they decided to either indulge in ego or thought, I can let you go. I have an opportunity to get in a relationship with someone else where they don't require me to deal with those things. And then they could have gotten in those relationships, and the whole point of it was to teach them a lesson that if you keep moving forward like this, it's never going to be maybe what you want. They could have went and gotten a relationship with someone else who held back from them and didn't bring the dream into reality, because those people also have their issues to deal with, and we're meant to learn lessons from each other that, if we're both fearful or insecure or prideful or egotistical or stubborn, who really wants to be in a relationship with us? But some of those people, if they see that you've moved on and you have a new relationship, they may have no choice but to settle for people who are kind of on the same page as them, because they can't find someone who's willing to give up on their dreams and let this person kind of be their false self or manipulative or controlling. And they're going to have to go be in a relationship with someone who's just like them, who might be willing to move forward in a relationship with them, where it's maybe not very loving or very nurturing, but high vibe 10 of cups of the Pisces energy can be, I've created this illusion that it's love, but really it's because we both have a lot of fear. We both have a lot of insecurity. We're both very materialistically driven. We were unhealthy in other relationships, and other people moved on, and other people won't stay in a relationship with us, but this person will, because of maybe the status or the image or the money or the addictions. So we're going to create the illusion that it's loving and happy, but really it's being in the relationship because of fear and insecurity and pride or ego. And we might have a lot of life lessons to learn. So tell us what's coming up for the people who harness high vibe Virgo energy, the Emperor, because of the truth. I think you're going to move forward with other people in the world who harness high vibe Aries energy. The King of Wands here is Aries energy. As you're moving forward and got out of those other relationships, there's other people in the world who are looking for people to get in a relationship with, and they don't want to be in a relationship either with the people like you could have gotten out of a relationship with. They've been in a relationship with people who are like that too. And they want to be in relationships with people who love and believe in themselves to get out of those kind of relationships, to learn the lesson that they were meant to learn from it, to learn to love themselves, to heal, to believe in truth and justice and fairness, who are ready, who have done the work to love themselves so that they can give and receive love with others. And you might have other people, some of you could have communicated to people who you believe harness high vibe Aries energy. Some of those people, will be willing to be in a relationship with you. Some of those people already moved on and are in a relationship. And why would they, even though they could view you as a loving person, that they could be in a relationship with you, why would they get in a relationship with you if they're already in a loving relationship? So they might be sad that they can't be in a relationship with you because you could be someone that they feel they could have that type of relationship with. But if they're already in a loving relationship, why would they get in a relationship with you? You might have communicated to someone who you might view as loving, but the truth could be that they might be more materialistically driven than you realized, and it's just to see the truth. The people who are free and available to be in a relationship with you, who are motivated and inspired by love, who've done this work within themselves, are going to be the people that you move forward with. And you're making really good decisions in your life, no longer wanting to run your life off into the ditch to learn these lessons, because that's what high vibe Emperor is about. I've learned all these lessons in life. I've learned letting my heart run my life into the ditch, letting my mind run my life, my lust or my passionate nature run my life into the ditch. I need to make decisions taking all aspects of my life into account, not just one aspect of myself having precedence in my life. And I want to be in relationship with other people who have learned those lessons, that don't let the world and money and materialism be what has most precedence in their life, or their lust or their greed or all about themselves take precedent in their life. Wanting to work with other people who are really mature people. And it looks like with great happiness and great passion, I think you will have that, because that's what you're investing in. And when that's what you align with within basically your mind and the way you live your life, that's what becomes manifested in your reality. What is coming up for the people who harness some shadowy Virgo energy that they might not see coming? Judgment, because of the Five of Cups. Well, that could go a couple different ways. Some people who are prideful and egotistical think, that they're the boss. And it could be, so long as people aren't illuminated to the truth. And in Virgo energy and shadow, it's about trying to hide the truth and keep the truth hidden. Some people are kind of prideful and egotistical, and they could have a lot of fears and insecurities that if they even move forward with the loving people in their life, they have so much fear and insecurity that the other people one day will leave them. So they have this lack mentality. They don't love and believe in themselves. And so then they sabotage the relationship, and they're not willing to move forward with those people because they're so afraid those people are going to leave them one day. Well, why don't they do work and effort within themselves to be someone that, why would someone leave them? But, anyway, they can think, oh, well, I don't want to move forward with them, or they're stepping outside my comfort zone. They're living life differently than I live life. I don't want to live my life like that. I want to live my life like this. I'm more content making my life about the world and being in my fear. I know if I take some action, maybe even hold back from those people, maybe even be stubborn and prideful, do all these things to be kind of hurtful and unkind or whatever so that those people will leave, then I can, create this illusion about why that relationship didn't work out so I can go live life the way I want to live it. And maybe go get in a relationship with other people who aren't as bold and brave and confident. Maybe people I can manipulate. Maybe people who are more motivated to stay in a relationship because of money and materialism. Other people who might be more fearful and insecure. I'll go get in a relationship with them. And so long as no one's illuminated to the truth about why I didn't move forward with the loving people in my life, no skin off my nose. I can go live my life in my ego, in my fear, in my insecurity, and nobody will know the difference. But I think with the Judgment card, other people in the world are intuitive, and some people in their Virgo nature might want to present themselves as a very stable, grounded, loving, nurturing person, and that they're, like they would be a good marriage partner and all that. Well, if they really haven't dealt with their inner issues, and if they're kind of fearful or insecure or more prideful and egotistical, or want to be kind of bossy and controlling in relationships and whatever, I think eventually people see the truth, and some people are going to realize that, these people could have caused a lot of pain and heartbreak for loving people, maybe even a family, because they have these unresolved issues that they don't deal with. And some other people might decide too that they don't really want to work together with them. And some of those people might hold back from them and might distance themselves from them. And they could be really stressed about that because, they'd never thought people would be illuminated to the truth. And the whole thing is, tell the truth. If there's, the truth sets you free. People can accept that we're fallible human beings. Some people could have left a relationship because there was someone in their past that they felt they missed an opportunity with. And they were kind of juggling. They got in a relationship with someone else when they really were still kind of hung up on someone else. Well, tell the truth. But some people don't want to tell the truth because it would affect their image and their status. So then they do all this shadowy shit to get out of the relationship that they're in so that they can go take action towards the other people. And there's going to be karma for that. And there's going to be consequences for that. But they could have thought, oh, there won't be consequences for that. And even some of the people that they went to go get in a relationship with don't want to be in a relationship with people who are like that. It's like, well, what was the truth? Why did that relationship end? The truth is what sets us free. And if we don't take action in truth, there are going to be consequences for our actions. So I think the people who weren't willing to see the truth and were acting and could be acting right now out of pride and ego, trying to either get people to leave or trying to manipulate people to stay in a relationship the way they want it. I think some high vibe people are going to leave those jobs and friendships and relationships because they see the truth and they don't want to be in relationships with people who are like that and who act like that. And the people who aren't being just and fair and open and honest, those people I think are going to feel stuck and feel left out in the cold because people moved on. And for some of them, the people they went to go get in a relationship with, when we're willing to let go of loving people in our life, there might be some lessons. We're not seeing people in our past clearly, and we have some lessons to learn that some of the people they went to go get in a relationship with, they weren't seeing clearly. And those people actually could have come into their life to teach them a lesson about appreciating, maybe loving people in their life, and that they should have put in the work and effort to work with those people, and that some of those people are kind of maybe prideful and egotistical and stubborn and materialistic or whatever. And those people could have learned from those people that, oh my gosh, this isn't what I want. I should have stayed with the loving people, but now the loving people don't want anything to do with them. And, you know, if the other people are like, it's one thing if the people who acted kind of shadowy in your life were your adult children or your siblings or a parent or a friend, it's one thing to be able, you can extend grace to everyone. I hope everything works out for you. I don't wish you ill will. We need less hurt people in the world. But we can extend and come back together in relationship with people that aren't someone that was a romantic interest, but people who were a romantic interest. It's like, no, I can't go there. That's too much of a risk for me to take when I already was loving and nurturing and supportive, and you rejected all of that. Apparently, with the devil, love wasn't enough. And sometimes, you need to no longer be together in that way where they're just an acquaintance and someone you know. And, we all have to face those consequences. For some of us, we have lessons to learn in life, and there could have been other people that we got out of relationships with, we didn't get in relationships with. And some of those people, once we learn lessons in life, even though we would maybe see the truth now, that they were a loving, just, and fair person, we hadn't learned to love ourselves, and we would like to maybe go get back in a relationship with some of those people. Some of those people are like, I'm glad you loved and believed in yourself, but I can't be in a relationship with you again. But I wish you peace, and, we've got to realize that, there's consequences for our actions when we haven't learned to love ourselves. So, it happens to everyone. We've all been immature and impulsive. We all hadn't learned to love ourselves at different times. And then there's extreme edge, which we have to take into account. Some people just had lessons learned, how to learn to love themselves, and had some fear and insecurity. Some of those people, if they learn their lessons, other people would be willing to get back in a relationship with them. And you've grown and matured yourself. What was the intent behind getting out of relationships with people? Some people were really all about themselves. They were really, we kind of knew that in the relationship. Some people we were in a relationship and we knew they were loving and nurturing and supportive. And then we didn't know why, a relationship wasn't working out and why a relationship changed. And it really was because either they just hadn't resolved an issue in their past or had some fear and insecurity, but they never meant us ill will. Other people were in their ego. They are bossy. They are controlling. They are selfish. They are greedy. And they wanted you to feel left out in the cold and stuck because you weren't doing the relationship the way they wanted it done. And that's a completely different thing. And I think those people who are like that, who want to come back and get in a relationship with people, yeah, I think people will be like, no way, Jose. Other people realize that people just had some growing up to do, and those people might be willing to get in a relationship with those people again. Or just new people they meet who made mistakes. We've all made mistakes. Anyway, we'll end it there, Virgo. I think you're going to have a new beginning with loving, nurturing people who've learned lessons in life just like you. And I think the shadowy people who were prideful, egotistical, bossy, controlling, don't want to see the truth or are more ego or materialistically driven. I think those people are going to try to get someone else in the world who might feel left out in the cold and stuck to get in a relationship with them, offer them the things of the world that they have, and either the pattern's going to happen all over again, that they get in a relationship with someone who is loving, and eventually that person's going to see the truth and that person's going to get out of the relationship with them, or they might get in a relationship with someone who is kind of like themselves and wants those things of the world, or is really codependent and fearful, and this is the type of person that they're used to being in a relationship with, and they both got a lot of lessons to learn, or they'll both stay in it for the money and materialism because that's what drives and motivates them. And they have these unresolved issues from the past that they don't deal with, and they just try to balance out their emotions, that they present themselves as one way in the world, but internally they're a different way. And I think eventually they're going to see that this is leading to nothing but more pain and heartbreak, and that if they don't start to love themselves, are they really going to keep staying in something? Shadowy Five of Swords is Scorpio energy. It's an emotionally shallow relationship where people can be intimidating and controlling, where people, can do all these things in a relationship, act like a private detective, do all these things to be intimidating and controlling to get what they want, and it's try to make them see, is this really how you want to live your life? What about love? Hopefully they'll pick love eventually one day. Don't hold your breath for those kind of people. Keep living your life. Keep speaking your truth. I think you will be freed from the past and get balance within yourself and be someone who's really making good decisions in your life and working together with other people who make really good decisions in their life and make good decisions when they make decisions that are going to affect other people that are affected by their decision. They make really good decisions. These people might be more of a King of Wands and have lessons to learn, which is also Aries energy, but they have a lot of lessons to learn in life. And they might only want to make decisions that are best for them at this point in time. And they don't really care about how it affects other people. It's all about them. So there you go, Virgo. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.